clockwise. Hi, everybody. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Tania LaCaria, and my work is the trash pile in the corner. This was also a little bit of a different exploration for me when Steph said that we all like working on paper, not I. And there are some pieces of my work in that pile that say, I really hate working on paper. So what you're looking at there is a little sculptural installation that I've titled Here One Second, Gone the Next. And what I've been exploring is how I don't typically like working on paper because I don't find it absorbent. It doesn't speak to the type of way that I like to express myself with ink and I guess materials that are a little bit more fleeting and ephemeral and moving through the medium. But with paper, I find it way less forgiving, and I was stuck on this idea of trying to find an idea, and I started thinking about ideas, and that's what this installation is actually about. So if you don't know, I've been in Mexico City for the past 6 months, and I made this body of work there, and it made its way back here, and my beautiful team installed it on my behalf. And that was another exercise in surrender because I didn't actually get to install it myself and bring my vision that was in my mind into fruition, but they did a really great job of kind of translating my idea, and actually I enjoyed seeing the way that you brought that idea into fruition based on just my instructions. And the way that I think about ideas was originally inspired by Elizabeth Gilbert, and she talked about ideas as these like things that move through the air, kind of traveling over the hills, and they land in places. And I often think of my ideas as like entities, as if they have a soul and a being of themselves. And when an idea finds me, I have this sense of urgency that if I don't act on it, it won't stay with me. It's an entity, it's a soul, it needs to be expressed, so it'll find somebody else. And so I imagine all of the ideas that live in the back of my mind that I call trash ideas. And I don't know why some of them get explored and some of them don't, but in my mind there's this like big trash bag, but I can see them all, which is why I wanted the bag to be clear. And kind of get crumpled and tossed aside, and then sometimes I'll go looking through the bag and I'll pick them up, and then other times I'll be in a gallery and I'll see someone else has explored an idea that I had in my mind, and I thought, oh, that entity left me and it found somebody else. Here, 1 second and gone the next. So that's kind of what I was trying to explore with paper, because it just seems like the super fragile medium that also doesn't let me express myself in the way that I typically do, which is kind of an exciting thing, but also frustrating. And I've also been really thinking about the idea of my art being less of a celebration of beauty and more of a commentary. And this is less important to me that something is like aesthetically beautiful at this point in my career, and is just maybe something that's a little more thought-provoking and makes people think about themselves and their ideas and how we process ideas, as if the idea itself is the art and not the final product. So, hi Lisa, not to draw everyone's attention, but Lisa Mickey's here. So yeah, that's what I was thinking about. And actually one of the things that turned out a little bit differently from how the installation was executed and how it was in my mind is that I didn't expect you to be able to see so much of the imagery. I never actually wanted the faces, the paintings, the words. There's a lot of words, it's a lot of stream of consciousness. It's more doodles and ideas from my sketchbook. None of this is supposed to look or appear like polished work. That's the whole point. These are just ideas. And the idea of like, can art be valuable, and can you make good art if you're not trying to? And do your ideas have enough merit without you fleshing them out in their entirety? Can we honor them as the entities that they are without having to hold them up on this pedestal to be something special or beautiful? So that's what I was thinking. Are there any questions about that specific installation? Okay, cool. Well, then,
You can't get without any.
Oh my God.
So you said you don't enjoy working on paper.
Yeah.
In your mind, was this successful?
Well, that would depend on how we define success. So, I think in terms of success, I would say the exploration and the execution of an idea from start to finish is successful. Each individual piece, if you're looking, when you have a chance to get up close and look at the pieces that are crumpled on the floor, I don't really want to judge any one piece of work as being successful or not, because that wasn't even my intention. So I think the work as a whole and how it communicates with the rest of the forms of togetherness, I would say, is successful.
Right.
But each individual piece was never meant to be a work of art. So that means it can't be unsuccessful, right? But also wasn't really my intention. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay, great. I'm glad I answered that. Okay, well, thank you.